After 20 years of absence, Billionaire returns home only to be shocked by what he finds. Mark Jenkins had just returned home after 20 years of working abroad. He could unwait to see his family and show them the fortune he had acquired during that time. However, when he got home, he found something that left him devastated. He was not the successful businessman his parents had expected. In fact, he looked more like a bum. Mark didn't look anything like his graduation photo. His clothes were torn, and he had a thick beard. His appearance shocked his parents so much that they couldn't even hug their son. They asked him why he had come back if he was uneven trying to make something of himself. Mark replied that he had nothing else to do. He had lost everything in a failed business deal and was now bankrupt. His parents didn't believe him. They thought he was lying and making excuses. "You always were a lazy good-for-nothing," his father finally said, and turned away to get back to watching TV. Mark felt humiliated, but he knew his parents would never understand what he'd been through. He went to his room and slept. The next morning, he decided to take a shower and sort out his things. After the shower, he opened the window to get some fresh air. That's when he noticed a cardboard box with old yearbooks from when he was a child. There was one in particular that caught his eye. It was from his last year in high school. He took it with him into his bed and started flipping through the pages. Suddenly, he stopped at a photo of himself. It was a picture from the day of his graduation party. He looked at the other students in the picture, trying to recognize any of them. Some of them had probably become successful doctors or lawyers, he thought. But that wasn't his path in life. Mark fell into a deep depression. Kay had been successful once and could do it again. This time, though, he wanted more than just money. He wanted to make a real difference in the world. He took out his phone and called a friend from high school who he knew worked at a charity organization. He explained to her what he wanted and asked if she could help him find a place where he could volunteer. "Of course," she said. "I'll send you the address right away." Mark was excited to start helping people, but first he needed to get rid of his old, worn-out clothes. He went to a nearby donation center and gave them his torn shirt and jeans. The woman at the counter smiled warmly at him and thanked him for the donation. Then she told him that if he needed anything, he was welcome to take a look around. Mark politely declined her offer, but it made him think. Maybe this place could use a little renovation. He thought it looked depressing and run down, which wasn't exactly welcoming. So he asked how much it would cost to renovate the building. "Oh, we really need that," the woman said. "It would cost about $10,000. Mark pulled out his wallet and wrote a check for the full amount. The woman was so grateful that she practically took him on a tour of the building, showing him all the areas that needed renovation. "You have no idea how much this means to us," she said. "Thank you so much." Mark smiled and said, "It was my pleasure." From that day on, Mark started volunteering at the donation center. He spent most of his days there, helping out wherever he could. One day, Mark ran into someone he knew from high school. "What are you doing here?" The man asked in surprise. "I'm volunteering," Mark replied. "And you?" "I work here," the man said proudly. "This is my second year as director." Mark was happy to hear that. It meant his friend was also making a difference in the world. A few weeks passed and the renovations were finished. The donation center looked bright and welcoming. Mark was so happy with the results that he decided to hold a reopening party. He invited everyone from town, including his parents. T hadn't spoken to them since his return, but he hoped they would be proud of what he had done. On the day of the party, the whole town showed up, including his parents. They stood in front of the building, hand in hand. "I'm so sorry about how we treated you," his mother said. "We were wrong. You don't need to make something of yourself to make us proud." Mark smiled and replied, "It's all right. I understand. But I want you to know that I'm happy now. I may not have the millions of dollars I used to, but I have something much more valuable. I have your love and the love of the people in this town. And that's all that matters."